Hello and welcome, Number Hunter 91 here, and today we are going to be talking about 6 brand new cards for Dark Magicians, one of which is a little bit more generic in the way it can be splashed into other decks. However, I'm still going to include it in the 6 that are being spoken about. So to start off with, we have Magician's Souls. It is a dark spellcaster effect monster, level 1, with 0 attack, 0 defense. You can send up to 2 spell/trap cards from your hand and or field to the graveyard. Draw the same number of cards that you sent to the grave. Makes sense. If this card is in your hand, you can send 1 level 6 or higher spellcaster monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then activate one of the following effects. Special summon this card from your hand, or send this card to the graveyard. Then you can special summon 1 Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from your graveyard, and you can only use each effect of Magician's Souls once per turn. So, going over the effects a little bit. So, you can see, it has kind of 3 effects, but it only has 2 main effects. So the very first effect, you can send 2 spell or trap cards from your hand and or field to the graveyard to draw the same number of cards. So you can draw up to 2, so it's kind of a pot of greed, but at the same time it's breaking it. You're negging 1 really with that, because this needs to be on field anyway, so you're -1 from your hand automatically. And then you've got to send 2 spell or traps, which this deck, yes, runs plenty, but they're all vital to the deck, so you don't really want to be sending them in the first place. So that effect isn't really going to get used that often. I am just looking over every now and then, because I have a second screen now, thankfully, that I have my stream chat on. I am live streaming at the time of recording this. With the second effect, which is the one that's going to get used more often, if it is in your hand, you can send 1 level 6 or higher spellcaster monster from deck to the graveyard, and then activate one of the following effects. You can either special summon it, or send it to the grave to special summon a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from your grave. It does mean that it is an easier Dark Magician on field first turn. There are a couple of pros and cons that I have already noticed with this card through 1, reading it, and 2, playing the card a little bit. So one of the pros is, as I said, it can mean a first turn Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl on board, making fusion and ritual plays a lot easier. However, its cons, and I've noted 4 already. There possibly is more. If you think of any more, let us know down in the comment section below. It can be stopped by Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, because it sends a card from deck to grave as part of one of its effects. Both effects are a hard once per turn, so you can't use 2 of the same effect at once. However, you can use each effect per turn, which isn't as bad, but unless you're in a really tight space and you know that what them top 2 cards are, I wouldn't really bother. One of the cons is the fact that you'll never really use the send 2 spell or traps from hand or field to the grave effect, and also it cannot use both of the bullet points within its effect in the same turn. So quite a few cons. Overall, I do like the card. I've been playing it. It does work, especially if you open this and circle and you get in second, you're banishing the card straight away, which is quite nice if your opponent doesn't stop you sending to grave in the first place. But apart from that, generally it's an all-rounder decent card. It is unfortunately also going to get used by spirals, so I do expect it to be a fairly priced card, if not slightly higher than it should be price. Moving on, we have Faithful Servant, which was one of the latest ones to be announced. It is a quick play spell, as you can see here, and its effect reads as follows. Place one Dark Magician or one card that specifically lists Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl in its text, except for itself, from your hand, deck, and or graveyard on top of the deck. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your grave, draw cards equal to the number of Palladium Oracle monsters, Dark Magician, and Dark Magician Girl on the field and in the graveyards with different names. You can only use this effect of Faithful Servant once per turn. So, hand, deck, or grave means that if the opponent destroys one of your spell or traps while they're on your field, you can recycle it back to the top of your deck. The draw effect is in your own turn, but could draw up to 4 cards, due to Dark Magician Girl, Palladium Oracle Mahad, Palladium Oracle Mana. Cards that say that they are treated as Dark Magician will not count towards the draws. For instance, Dark Magician of Dragon Knight and Magician of Dark Illusion. So going on to straight into the pros and cons, we have it's a quick play spell to help force out certain hand traps. It can help put back a face up Eternal Soul to stop the board from being destroyed, as its effect would not activate due to no longer being public knowledge. Can search about 80 to 90% of the main core of the deck depending on your build. In the build that I'm playing, it searches out, I think it's closer to 95% of my deck. I don't think I actually have many cards in my deck that this cannot put on top of the deck. This will allow you to put Magician's Rod on the top, Magician's Souls, Apprentice Illusion Magician, Pendulum Oracle Mahad, it puts quite a few of the cards on the top, which is quite nice. The placing of a card is not a once per turn effect, however that would require you to have more than one copy in your hand. And it can also be searched by Rod and or Circle because it lists Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl in its text, so you can recur it that way as well. The cons of the card, due to it being a quick play spell, becomes a target for opponent's back row removal if setting it to use during their turn. The draw effect is only during your turn, meaning that you are not able to try and draw into any hand traps during their turn to help with disruptions and negations. And the draw effect is a hard once per turn, which hurts a little bit. But overall, I like this card. I've been testing it as a 2 of in the build that I'm currently playing on my stream. I may bump this up to 3 because it's usable, but I need to look at other ways of getting Dark Magician Girl, Dark Magician, Palladium Oracle Mana, and Palladium Oracle Mahad into the graveyard to maximise on those draws. If there is a way of doing that, do let us know in the comment section down below. I do read them all. I apologise if I don't reply to them, but I do certainly read them all. Moving on, we have Dark Magic Secrets, which is the new ritual / fusion spell for Dark Magicians. Once again, it is a quick play spell. So the speed of the deck's coming up a little bit more. We just need a little bit more consistency, which Faithful Servant will help to provide, but it's not perfect. Reading through Dark Magic Secrets, as I said, it is a quick play spell, and its effect reads as follows. Activate one of these effects, semicolon. Either fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material, including Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, or ritual summon one ritual monster from your hand by tributing monsters from hand or field, including Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, whose total level equal or exceed its level. So it gives you the option, which is brilliant. It also allows you to do it during your opponent's turn, which can severely disrupt their plays. Pros: it is a quick play, which is brilliant, and can summon either a fusion or ritual monster. Its cons: has to use either a Dark Magician or a Dark Magician Girl as part of the fusion or ritual summon, and has to be set to use during opponent's turn, making it susceptible to the back row removal if you're not able to chain it. Obviously, if you can chain it, perfect. If not, you're in a little bit of bother, which is unfortunate. So, moving on to the next card. I'm going to try and get through these a little bit quicker so I don't make the video too long. The next one is a continuous trap called Magician's Combination. Apologies, do need a quick sip. Once per turn, when a card or effect is activated, you contribute one Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, special summon one Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from your hand or graveyard with a different name from the tributed monster, and if you do, negate the activated effect. If this face-up card in the spell and trap zone is sent to the graveyard, you can destroy one card on the field. So, splitting that effect down, unfortunately the negate effect is a once per turn. However, it is not a hard once per turn, meaning if you have 2 or 3 copies of this up on the field, you will have 2 to 3 negates, which is brilliant. Unfortunately, I am playing this as a 3 of in the deck that I'm currently playing, and I've not seen it once. However, because it does list Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl, it is able to be added to your hand by Dark Magical Circle. You can add it through Magician's Rod, so I could see it more often. Faithful Servant can put it to the top of the deck. So there are ways of getting to it, and I may have to look at starting to use those ways to get to it. Its pros: can destroy one card on the field if sent to the graveyard while face up and does not target. Although it's a once per turn effect, it's not a hard once per turn, as I said, which means if you have 2 to 3 copies, you can negate 2 to 3 times. And its destruction effect is not a hard once per turn or hard once per turn, which is brilliant. Cons: is only live while a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl are also face up on your side of the field, and you have the opposite one in either your hand or graveyard. Has to already be face up to get the destruction effect, so if on its initial activation it was destroyed by something like Cosmic Cyclone or Solemn Judgment, it would not get the destruction effect. It's the same as Soul. So if you destroy them on their initial activation, they will not destroy. However, because of its effect, after it's been activated and its activation went through, If you activate its effect again, it can be stopped by Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, which, while Ghost Ogre does not see play as much at the moment, it may start seeing a little bit more play if more people are using it. And you'll find out why I've said that in a little while when I read the 6th card. So, moving on to number 5, and it is the first of 2 fusions. We have the Dark Magicians. It is a Dark Fusion Spellcaster effect monster, level 8 with 2800 or 2800 attack and 2300 defense. Its materials are Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl and 1 Spellcaster. Dark Magician deck is a deck full of spellcasters, apart from what I read out on the next card. So, this card's effect reads as follows. Once per turn, if a spell or trap effect is activated, you can draw 1 card. If the drawn card is a spell or trap, you can set it on your field. If a quick play spell or trap card was set by this card's effect, that card can be activated the turn it was set. So, I've just added in a bit of text there because of the translation. This is only the current translation. And I'll go through that a little bit more in a sec. If this card is destroyed, you can special summon 1 Dark Magician and 1 Dark Magician Girl, each from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So, they destroy this monster. It brings 2 more out. Brilliant. So, its pros and cons. The draw effect, although a once per turn, will work on your opponent's turn if they activate a spell or trap card. Brilliant. If the draw was a quick play spell or trap that you set, you can then activate it the same turn. And if it, as I said, if it's destroyed, it replaces itself with both a Dark Magician and a Dark Magician Girl from hand, deck, and or graveyard. The cons of this card, and I've only noted 2 so far, is the draw effect is a once per turn effect, and currently does not say it is treated as a Dark Magician on field or in grave, so it will not be protected or revived by Eternal Soul, which is a major downside. Ideally, if it had the effect, well, in part of its effect that it would be counted as a Dark Magician, would make it so much better. The very last card which we'll go on to is one that is not specifically for Dark Magicians. However, when you see its materials requires a Dark Magician, and it is Dragun of Red-Eyes. It is a dark spellcaster fusion effect monster with 8 stars, making it obviously a level 8 with 3000 attack and 2500 defense. Its materials are Dark Magician and Red-Eyes Black Dragon, or 1 dragon effect monster, for instance Destrudo, Supreme King Dragon Darkworm, Phantasme aka Thanos Dragon, just to name a few examples. And its effect reads as follows: cannot be destroyed by card effects. Also, neither player can target this card with card effects. During your main phase, you can destroy 1 monster your opponent controls, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. This effect can be used per turn up to a number of normal monsters used as fusion materials for this card. Once per turn, when a card or effect is activated, quick effect, you can discard one card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card, and if you do, this card gains 1000 attack. So, a lot to break down in this one. The fact it cannot be destroyed by card effects, nor targeted with card effects, is brilliant. However, it does mean that it can be run over in battle, provided they've got a monster with a high enough attack. Its base stat is 3000 and it gains 1000 each time it negates the activation of a card. So each turn it can gain 1000 attack. Beautiful. Up to the number, you can destroy one monster your opponent controls, and if you do, inflict damage up to the number of normal monsters used for this card's summon. Generally, it will only be able to do that once during your main phase. However, if you are mad enough to run a Red-Eyes Black Dragon and you send both it and Dark Magician, excuse me, apologies, then you will be able to do that twice. And its final effect, as it reads, is a once per turn, where you can discard a card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card, and if you do, it gains 1000 attack. So, its pros obviously cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. This includes Eternal Soul. This card cannot be destroyed by Eternal Soul destruction effect. Brilliant! We needed a boss monster like it, so that we can keep something on the field if they blow up Eternal Soul. I've put a pro as it cannot be destroyed by battle. Reason being, its base attack is 3000. Each turn you can get it to gain 1000 attack. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,000 are not easy attacks to get over. 3000 attack is not easy to get over. One of the only monsters that I think may be able to actually do anything to this card no, it's not one of the only monsters. There are other cards that can affect it. However, the easiest way to do it would be Borreload Dragon and then bring it to your side of the field, because it discards any card. So if you are able to snatch steal it in a way, i.e. Borreload's effect, during main phase 2 you can activate, you can use that negation effect. It's going to the grave at the end of the next turn, but am I going to want to go against it? No. Its effect negation and attack gain are a quick effect. Brilliant. And it cannot be stopped by Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, Infinite Impermanence, or Effect Failure. However, if you summon this out and Skill Drain is already active on the field, then its effects will be negated, which means it can then be destroyed by card effects, can be targeted, blah blah blah. If you know your opponent's running Skill Drain and you haven't used its activation effect and they go to activate it, you can use its quick effect to negate the Skill Drain and then gain 1000 life points on top. Cons to this card. Obviously, if you cannot discard, you cannot negate and therefore gain the attack. Its materials require you to run either another level 7 vanilla in the shape of Red-Eyes Black Dragon, or a dragon effect monster, which in turn could increase the number of dead cards in the deck. However, most people that are playing meta are playing Fantastical Dragon Phantasme, aka Thanos Dragon. It's a dragon effect monster. So you've only got to add in a Dark Magician and a Red-Eyes Fusion to be able to play it. 2 cards. 3 cards in deck, you can play this. I see that as a little bit too... I'm not going to say broken, because it's not entirely broken. But I do see it as OP, and it's a little bit OTT in that respect. However, I do like the card, just unfortunately it is very easily outed by anything that does not target and does not destroy it. So, those are the 6 cards that we've gone over for today. Let us know down in the comments section below what you think of the cards. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like notification bell, join the hunting clan, hunting party, and make sure that you are notified of when my videos go up. I am slowly producing more and more content now. I'm concentrating on one channel. Head over to my Twitch channel on a Tuesday and a Thursday to see my live streams. The link for that will also be down below in the description. And I will see you in my next video.